Hello there, I'm Tania, a high school student, and I'm going to explain you the basics of the Cold War. First, let's see what the world was like after World War II. Germany was divided again, and what the Nazis did to the Jewish will remain as the worst episode in human history. There were millions of refugees, exiles, and displaced people in search of shelter. The United States, the Soviet Union, France, and Great Britain occupied Germany. Many countries were destroyed due to the war. Agriculture and other activities were stopped by the war, so millions of people were in famine. Millions of people died in the war, other millions were harmed, and thousands were victims, being Russia and China the countries with most deaths. The ideology of the Soviet Union spread in Europe. There was a geopolitical division between capitalism and communism. In order to stop spreading communism, the US developed the Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan financed the reconstruction of cities, industries, and infrastructure in Western Europe with more than 15 billion. Women and young men were involved in the reconstruction of cities. During 1940 and 1950, more than 4 million Mexicans were sent to the United States to fill the lack of labor. This agreement is known as the Mexican Farm Labor Program. While Europe was almost in ruins, the US wasn't structurally affected. Mussolini was executed and Italy faced a terrible crisis. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, was created, a military and political organization that also pretended to stop the spreading of communism. So the Cold War was this sort of my political ideology is better than yours fight between the US and the Soviet Union. It doesn't have exact dates, but is a period from the Second World War to the end of the 80s and the beginning of the 90s. After World War II, the countries agreed to avoid at all costs another conflict like that. But even before World War II, the United States were concerned about the socialism growing in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the Soviet Union for short. It is known the Cold War because there was any direct attack from one country to another, but derived conflicts in other countries. There were two blocs, the capitalist one led by the US and the socialist one led by the Soviet Union. Both supported revolutions to spread their ideology and were considered world powers. Both were developing new technologies, military strategies, and economic systems. But what was the difference between the two economic systems? How did they work? Well, socialism cannot be attributed to just one person. It is considered that it was influenced by the communism proposed by Karl Marx, but it went through several changes until it was adopted after the Russian Revolution. Socialism describes any political or economic theory that says the community, rather than the individuals, should own and manage property and natural resources. On the other hand, capitalism is commonly attributed to Adam Smith. His ideas for a free market opened the world to capitalism. Capitalism is based around free market economy. In capitalist economies, government play a minimal role. Adam Smith says that in this way people are motivated to act in their own self-interest. So what's the big deal, you may be asking? Well, these economic systems are seen as the opposite, but unlike charges, they don't attract each other. Let's see some of the differences. In capitalist economies, people have strong incentives to work, increase efficiency, and produce superior products. But under capitalism, there are no guarantees that each person's basic needs will be covered. A socialist system's primary benefit is that the people living under it are given social safety. Socialist economies can also be more efficient in the sense that there is less of a need to sell goods to consumers who might not need them, so there is no waste. But equality is a concern. In theory, everyone is equal under socialism, but favorite goods cannot be eliminated. In short, under capitalism you receive the fruit of your work, but it doesn't mean that if you work more, you get more. In socialism, the goods are divided between the community. Although the powers did not attack each other, they did attack other territories. Some of the most famous events of the Cold War were the Berlin Wall in 1961. Russia launches Sputnik into the Earth's orbit in 1957. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. Vietnam War from 1955 to 1975. Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon, 1969. Fall of the Berlin Wall, 1989. For learning purpose, I interviewed someone about the Cold War. You can read the interview in the diapos. These are the comments I made about my partner's work in the forum. As you can see, they mention the Berlin Wall and the organizations made after World War II. This was all for today. I hope that you learned something new and enjoyed the presentation. Thank you for watching and goodbye.